Hey, what's up guys? My name is Daniel and today we're taking a look at a new product that I'm really excited about. This is the new Burst Wizard King Kong Super 2 Mosfet.
Airsoft GI would like to thank our sponsors.
Okay, so first of all, what is a MOSFET? A MOSFET essentially is a chip that is designed to help regulate the electricity between the battery and your gun. The way an AEG generally works is the battery will be the source of power to the gun and power the mechanics, creating the air pressure to fire the BB. What this MOSFET does is will regulate that electricity to give you lots of really cool features. Alright, so MOSFETs are nothing new to the Airsoft community. They've been around for a very long time and provide a lot of the cool features. What's nice about the Burst Wizard here is that it's plug and play. The way it works is all you have to do is plug in the MOSFET between your gun and your battery. That's it. Alright, so the next question is, what can it do? Right now we have this gun set up in a very standard setup. We have a LiPo set up to this classic Army M15, and right now we have the semi feature and the full auto. Out of the box, the way the MOSFET is designed is to give you a burst setting straight out of the box. So all we're gonna do here is plug in the MOSFET and we're still gonna have our semi, but if you switch it to full auto, 3-round burst. Now that feature alone is highly desired within the Airsoft community. I have a lot of people in the store that ask me all the time, how do I make my gun burst? It's something that can be done with some of the older MOSFETs, but a lot of times the trouble is you have to go in and hardwire it into your gun itself, which requires tech work and more time, more money, more knowledge. With this, you just plug and play. With the with the burst feature that initially comes with, you still have the full auto function, but it delays. So I'm gonna demonstrate that right now. You're gonna hear the 3-round burst. It's gonna delay for a second and then jump into the full auto. So here we go. Alright, so some of the other features that this MOSFET does have is you can change the burst count from 1 to 9. You can change that full auto delay, that after the burst when it delays and then kicks into full auto, you can change that delay time if you want it to be shorter or longer. It also comes with a few features that are really cool for realism that may or may not be as popular. One of them is a sniper delay. Let's say you're doing a DMR setup and you want it to be a little bit more realistic where you can't just pop off shots on semi as fast as you can pull the trigger. You can actually program it that you can only shoot once every 2 seconds, 3 seconds, so it's a little bit more realistic. The other feature that I really like is the magazine delay. Let's say you want to do a more milsim experience. You can actually use a normal high cap magazine if the event allows, but what you can do is after 30 shots, if you set it that way, you can have the MOSFET delay the gun for, let's say, 3 seconds, 4 seconds to act as your magazine reload. That's a really cool feature that you're gonna have to think of that when you're playing. If you set it to that feature that you can't just shoot like crazy, you're gonna have to reload. And so that's something that I definitely like. It does have LiPo protection if I didn't mention it already. And another great feature is it has a rate of fire test. It can actually sense how fast your gun is, test it, and it will let you know it's shooting 15 BBs a second, 20 BBs a second, or whatever. So this is actually not all of the features, but this is just some of the ones that we really like. So the last feature that I want to mention is a little bit more tech savvy, but it's something that was cool that I was happy that they added into the MOSFET. It's a feature called Precocking. The way an AEG works is the piston goes back and forth. When the piston is all the way back, that's when it's released to create the air pressure. What Precocking does is it sets that piston to be set back as far as possible, so when you pull the trigger, the response is much more immediate. Now this is a little bit more tech savvy, as I mentioned before, so you need to have a pretty good setup with your gun. I would not necessarily recommend that for a stock gun, but it is nice that the MOSFET does include that feature. Alright, so that's a lot of great features that the MOSFET can do, but now you might be wondering, how do you change it to those features and how do you program it? Once again, it's very easy, very simple, nothing that you have to take apart or disassemble. The way it works is when you immediately plug in the MOSFET, it goes into a command mode where you're going to use the trigger as the command setting. So what happens is, we're going to demonstrate it in just a moment, you plug in the MOSFET and within the first 5 seconds, you will enter a specific command mode based on the amount of times you pull the trigger. So what we're going to demonstrate right now is how to change the burst fire mode. Alright, so what we're going to do right now is change that burst fire mode where right now it's at the factory setting to 3. We're going to change it to 7. So we're going to plug it in and right away we're going to enter the burst command mode, and that is going to be 2 trigger pulls. So we do have an indicator and a light that lets you know which mode, and it will respond by the amount of flashes that it gives you. So right now we're gonna plug it in and we're gonna pull the trigger 2 times. 1, 2. And you're gonna see it beep 2 times. That means we're in that second command mode. Now we're gonna tell it how many times to burst. We're gonna go 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's gonna respond 7 times. At that point, let it sit for a second and reset. The red light should go solid. And now we're gonna have the semi and 7-round burst. So we should be good to go. Semi and 7-round burst. Awesome. All right, so on top of all those great features that I mentioned and more that I haven't even mentioned yet, the Mosfet is really good for the health of your gun. It's gonna come with 2 cutoff features. The first one is gonna be mechanical. Let's say something goes wrong internally with your gun, a piston breaks or a gear breaks. If that happens, the Mosfet is smart enough to recognize that and cut off the power to the gun to prevent more damage from happening. The other cutoff feature is going to be a battery cutoff feature. That's great for LiPos where you don't want to discharge them past a certain rate. All right, so the other 2 features for safety is that it's gonna help prevent arcing, which is gonna keep the trigger contacts and the wires very healthy. The other thing is it has an adaptable resettable fuse. What that means is if there is a battery change or a power surge, that fuse is gonna blow, reset itself, but then also adapt to the new power source and be smart and learn with it. All right, so besides all these great features that the Mosfet comes with, one of the other things that they did was dramatically slim down the size. The old Mosfet was, I don't think it was twice as big, but it was a little bit more cumbersome, that depending on the type of your gun and your battery compartment, the size can be an issue. So this is definitely the smallest and the newest version from the Burst Wizard lineup, and it's great that it's very, very slimmed down. We have these available on our website at airsoftgi.com in the standard Tamiya connection and also the Dean's connections, which are something that I would personally recommend. So the Dean's is on our website for I believe $39.99 and the Tamiya should be about $38. So it's a great way to add some more features to your gun without making it overly complicated, and gratefully it's not overly expensive. So check them out on our website. We're gonna put up a link right over here. Otherwise, this has been the Burst Wizard King Kong Super 2. I'm Daniel, this is GI TV. Thanks for watching, guys.
Airsoft GI would like to thank our sponsors.
This more that I haven't even a lot of great features that me mentioned. It's amazing, buy it.